Here we have a 2004 Toyota Echo. And the problem that we are experiencing is that when the car has sat overnight and you go to start the car, it will not idle correctly. I'm going to demonstrate that to you right now. Okay, if you can hear that, the car sounded like it wanted to die. You can see that the temperature shows that it's cold, indicated by the blue light on the left side of the tachometer there. And we also have a check engine light on. Again, I will start the car and you can listen. And you get this check engine code, as you can see here in the picture. And this code basically translates into a faulty idle air control circuit. Now the idle air control circuit is controlled by this idle air control valve, otherwise known as an idle air control solenoid. Now this particular component here will sit underneath the throttle body. Your throttle body on your engine is this component here, and it's going to be right underneath there, which is hard for you to see. Now this engine is the same for the Scion XA and the Scion XB of the similar years, between years 2000 and 2005 or 2006. So the procedure for replacing this unit is going to be the same. Now unfortunately there is no really definite way to test this component because it sits so buried underneath the throttle body. Generally, if you have a check engine light, that means the component has failed in some way. Either the solenoid or the motor that controls the valve has burnt up, which is this black piece here, or internally it is clogged up with carbon. Okay, now this is a used unit that we picked up at the local wrecking yard for free. It only cost $2 to enter the wrecking yard, and as you can see, it's just about as big as my hand. But although this was from a running car, we still had to clean this because it still had carbon buildup inside of it. Now some other videos would say you can clean the one on your car by spraying either mass airflow cleaner or carburetor cleaner inside of a tiny hole that you will see here in just a second. But there's really no way for you to insert a tool and scrub off physically the carbon buildup that is blocking the actual passageway that air needs to pass by so that your car can idle correctly. So the very first step we want to do is to go ahead and remove this intake tube. So this uses a Phillips or a size 10 socket on this particular car. Remove this item first. After that, you want to go ahead and remove this line that runs to the throttle body. You can simply just pull it off like this by twisting it, and then just pull it straight up. Next, you'll need 12mm socket with extension to remove first this bracket that is bolted on to the throttle body. This bracket, as you can see here, will hold the throttle linkage. So we need to remove this one first. To remove the third bolt, you're going to need to push very hard on this transmission dipstick if your car is an automatic transmission. So just push very hard on the actual tube itself, not this plastic handle, and then you can fit your socket behind there to remove the third bolt. You're also going to need to remove a 10mm bolt that holds this tube in place which is kind of a little bit down below. So you can wiggle this tube further this way, which will allow you to make more room to remove the throttle body itself. Next, you want to remove this electrical connector back here. So you can remove this bracket because it is attached to it by a little plastic fastener down below here at the lower edge of this bracket. So we'll remove this connector, and then we can take off this bracket assembly and also the throttle cable. After you remove the throttle body, then you want to remove these studs on the intake manifold so you can make more room to basically swing this upwards, because there's then coolant lines you need to take off that run into that solenoid. So go ahead and remove this by using the plier, and you simply just want to pull it straight out this way, and it will come out. Alright, next you can see those clamps I'm telling you about for the water lines. There is this one right behind here, and you'll need some pliers or something to basically remove. There's two of them there, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. So we have here, for example, one of them here. Okay, and there's another one right next to it. You'll need to remove both of them. Then you can finally pull this whole thing out. Actually, what we're going to do next is remove the intake box. It's a lot easier for us. And then you can remove the 3 10mm bolts that hold the box in place. The whole thing will just come out, and then you get more access to those coolant lines back over there. Again, you really have to bend this transmission dipstick tube this way, out the way, so you can move the entire throttle body around that. Now you get clean access to these coolant lines, and then once you remove those, everything will come off, and then we'll go from there. To prevent the coolant from leaking, you can use a pair of vice grips to basically pinch the coolant hoses, so when you remove this tube, that you will not lose all your coolant. Also too, you want to mark these hoses which way is which, so just put an arrow going this way and an arrow going this way, so you know which hoses matches to which ports. Next, we're going to use a power screwdriver to take off these 3 Phillips. They're on here pretty tight, so we'll go ahead and remove that. Next, we're going to apply some of this Ultra Black Sealant by Permatex. You can use the copper one too, or the orange one. But in any case, you want to put just a little light thin coating on the clean surface of the replacement unit, because this gasket we're going to reuse. So basically, you know, this will help create more of a sealing surface here. So we will use some of this very light only. So basically we put everything back. You know, it's exactly the reversal process of you taking it off. Now we're going to start the car to see if the replacement unit has fixed our problem. 1 second please. Here I'm going to start the car so you can see. And as you can hear, it is idling normally, okay? Now we're going to get rid of that check engine light, so just 1 moment please. Okay, so we're going to use this tool, the VPAC OBD2 reader. It's a Bluetooth unit. It means that it works wirelessly with any smartphone, any Apple iOS phone. And this is the same thing as like an OBD2 reader, you know, the ones with the cable and the big TV screen. Now it's just like this, and you can download this app on your phone. I'm going to put a picture right now. And basically you can get that from the Google App Store or Apple Play. And once you install that, you can use this device on any car to clear most codes, including some European cars. I use this on BMWs and like Mini Coopers and stuff like that. As you've seen in my previous videos, I've always used this tool and it works. So anyhow, we're going to clear that check engine light code, and that way we can be sure that the car will throw no more codes. So give me 1 second here. Okay guys, one more time, I just reset the check engine light, so let's start it up and see what the result will be now. And as you can see, everything is fixed. So like I said to you earlier, if you get that 0511 code, that is your problem. Follow those steps, and then always try to get a second-hand part at the junkyard, because these cost anywhere from about $15 to $25, and it's only $2 at the junkyard. You just need to basically take it off. So, you know, if you can save a little bit of money here and there, why not? You know, just give it a try. It's only $2, and if it doesn't work, well, you'll need to do the work again, but at least you tried. So anyhow, if you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can check out more of my interesting repair and other review videos that I make. And as always, please share this video with other people so that way they can benefit from this information. And with that guys, I will see you on the next journey. Thank you guys.